All right, let's get right into it. We hear all this stuff about the amazing promise of AI, right? But what about the other side of that coin? What about the peril? Today, we're going to look at a pretty stark warning that comes from one of the most important people in the industry, and he's actually put a number on the risk of a global catastrophe.
25%. That's the number, a 1 in 4 shot. Now, this isn't from some sci-fi movie or a doomsday blogger. This comes directly from someone who is actively building our AI future, right now.
And there you have it, straight from the horse's mouth. That's Dario Amodei, the CEO of the AI company Anthropic. He said this at a big summit, and he's talking about his personal P-doom. Yeah, that's his probability of doom belief when it comes to artificial intelligence.
So a 25% chance that things go really, really badly. What in the world does that actually mean? Let's unpack that a bit.
You know, when you see it laid out like this, it kind of hits different, right? A 1 in 4 chance of catastrophe. To put that in perspective, those are way better odds than you'd ever get at a casino. But when the stakes are, well, everything, 25% suddenly feels absolutely enormous.
That is the critical question, isn't it? This isn't just about your phone auto-correcting something weird or a chatbot giving a strange answer. No. The scale of what he's warning about is so much bigger.
Amodei is talking about what's called existential risk. And that's a fancy term for scenarios that could genuinely threaten our entire way of life. Think about AI being used for truly terrible purposes, or a runaway AI that just spirals completely out of human control, with catastrophic consequences. In short, he's warning about the real possibility of societal collapse.
So to really understand this bet, you have to understand the person who's making it, because his perspective, where he's coming from, is incredibly significant here.
Look, this isn't some critic throwing stones from the outside. Dario Amodei is the CEO of Anthropic, the company that built the powerful AI model Claude. He is one of the chief architects of the very technology he's sounding the alarm on. He's not just observing the game from the sidelines. He is on the field, actively building these systems every single day.
And that, of course, leads us to the most logical question of all. If you truly believe there is a 25% chance that your work could lead to a global catastrophe, why on earth would you keep going?
Okay, to understand his way of thinking, let's use an analogy. Just imagine for a second that you're told there's a 1 in 4 chance your car will literally explode every single time you turn the key.
I mean, the choice for most of us would be pretty clear, right? You'd ditch the car immediately. You'd start walking, you'd take the bus, you'd do anything other than get behind that wheel. The risk is just way too high.
But that's not Amodei's approach. He wouldn't just walk away. He would become a mechanic. He'd pop the hood, diagnose the problem, and try to fix it before he gets in. And this little story, it brilliantly illustrates his core belief. You don't run from the risk, you confront it, and you work to mitigate it.
So if 25% is the risk, what's on the other side of the coin? That's the 75% he's betting on. It's the whole reason he's willing to become that mechanic in the first place.
When you look at the other side of this bet, you see a much larger slice. And Amodei is actually more focused on this, the 75% chance that things go really well. And this isn't just wishful thinking, it's a very calculated bet on an immense upside.
And here are the stakes laid out for us. On one side, you've got societal disruption and these massive existential threats. But on the other, the potential rewards are absolutely world-changing. Huge breakthroughs in medicine, way more efficient manufacturing, and maybe even finding new ways to tackle huge crises like climate change.
So at the end of the day, that 75% isn't about blind optimism. It is the powerful engine driving this entire gamble. It's the belief that the potential benefits for all of humanity are just so enormous that they justify taking on a very serious, very real risk, as long as you do everything in your power to manage that risk.
So we have this 25% risk of doom and a 75% chance of a brilliant future. How do we navigate this? How do we tip the scales so they land in humanity's favor?
It all really boils down to this core dilemma for AI developers. Step 1, you have to acknowledge the risk is real and it is significant. Step 2, you have to aggressively chase those incredible rewards. And step 3, the one that connects them both, is that you have to build with extreme care and foresight.
And this is the ultimate takeaway, right here. The existence of that 25% risk isn't an argument to just stop everything. Instead, it's the single most powerful argument for why AI development must be done so carefully, with safety measures and thoughtful regulation built in from the very beginning.
So we're left with this really potent idea.
if the future really is a mix of these two possibilities, a 75% chance of being brilliant and a 25% chance of being totally broken,
then the final question isn't for Dario Amodei alone, but it's for all of us. What are we going to do, as developers, as policymakers, and just as a society, to make sure that the weight lands firmly on the right side of that scale?